Project Hail Mary. Say Project Hail Mary, mate. I hope no blind British is watching me. Hello, it is Beeps, and this is the closest to you'll guys get to a face reveal as of right now. We never know what will happen, but right now, this is it. Anyways, I wanted to go over Project Hail Mary and what I thought about it. And yeah, I feel like by my dress, you are gonna have a relatively good idea about how I like it. I didn't even brush my hair for the bit, and also all these sunglasses are really dusty, even though I dusted them, and I'm now getting dust in my nose, and I'm gonna sneeze soon. I know it. Anyways, we're gonna break it down to a couple of different categories. We're gonna do what I thought about the movie. Are you the right person to read the book or have interest in the book? Audiobook or the actual physical book? And I'm gonna show you the special editions that I bought of the two editions that got the deluxe version. The Martian got the deluxe version. Hail Mary, of course, got the deluxe version for the books. Artemis has not yet, and I can do a whole separate video on Artemis. But yeah, okay, let's dive in. So in my terms of dress, I'm obviously dressed as when he has his crash out when he first wakes up. Somehow my boyfriend had this literal perfect fucking shirt, and I was like, all right, I gotta do that now. Got to do that. So here we are. Please rate how you think I look. I know I'm the most beautiful creature on earth, so like, you can keep your praise heads high. Regardless, I adored the movie. I've seen it twice in theaters. Me and my mom read the audiobook. So I also want to go into this. I already had a very soft spot for Hail Mary before I went in. So I already went into this really liking the book, and I feel like sometimes when you're going into movies such as like book recreations, that can either actually hinder how you like the movie, or it can really expedite how you love the film, seeing all the characters you love and adore on screen. I think Ryan Gosling as Grace was the perfect cast. Grace is a very nerdy character and very socially awkward, and while Ryan Gosling does in fact kind of look like a Greek god, I feel like in his soul he is an awkward person, and it carries out into the characters he plays very well. So he did a fantastic job in the role, and overall I love the movie. Again, I seen it twice in theaters. The first time I seen it with my mom because we read the book together, and then second, we weren't able to see in IMAX, and everyone was saying IMAX is better, IMAX is better. I'm here to tell you, call me an uncultured swine, but like, I think the experience was the same. Like, the images were a little bit clearer, but I didn't feel like it took away watching it in like a normal theater. Anyways, and then the second time I went to go watch it with my boyfriend because I loved it so much, I dragged him into it, and the movie did a really good job. They didn't like change any part of the plot. They did have to cut a lot of the plot, but I'll kind of split that into a little later, the things they took out of the plot, because that's probably going to be important for like the book portion. But they didn't change any part of the plot. They just cut things, and the things they cut I think were really well done, because it didn't, if you had read the book going into this movie, you were able to get the implication of a lot of these things, right? Like, you got the implication of the science going on behind the scenes, where the book, again, I'll talk about that later a bit more, but the book really dives into like the science aspect of it. The movie does not, which I think actually was a really well done thing, because I feel like it made this movie a lot more accessible to a lot more people, and it kind of got people foot in the door if they wanted to go ahead and read something more sciencey and learn a little bit more about that. So I think that was a fantastic job they did, and the movie was an overall very a feel-good movie. There was a lot of humor, and there was a lot of humor in the book. It was a lot more, I feel like, adult humor in the book, if I remember correctly, but nothing like garish is like sticking out to me. It has been a little bit since I read Project Hail Mary, so do keep that in mind. I did not reread it before watching the movie, and I'm probably not gonna reread it until I get the special editions in the mail, which isn't gonna be until like December. ish. So do keep that in mind. But overall, I think the movie was fantastically done. If you haven't seen it, go see it. I feel like a lot of films in today are bad. They're just bad, and a lot of them want to be more. Because I feel like a lot of films today are just more trying to attempt at cash grabs rather than the art. And yes, while you are making a movie to make money, to make more movies, I feel like people are catching on that there's no soul within a project anymore, and this project definitely had soul. I believe both, I have not researched this, but from just like background clips I've seen on Instagram, sue me, the set was all practical. Like they made the spaceship, and they also, like, so they didn't CGI it, and then they also actually made a puppet of Rocky. And I think that the puppet and the practical set is what really elevated this movie and created a soul, because you also get so many people who are so into set design and into like the monster and alien design that they're able to have so much more fun with it. And you actually find out, like, especially with the puppet design, I feel like Rocky moved very realistic for how he looked. This is some spoilers, by the way, I guess, if you didn't know Rocky existed. A really cute space alien, Grace meets, and I think because he was a puppet, I'm sure there's some parts they CGI'd as well, but because he was a puppet, he was able to move a lot more real than I feel like if they do CGI. Because CGI, they don't have to be in the law of physics, but they have to be in the law of physics for the puppet. So I think it worked out a lot better and it made everything a lot more realistic, which the point of Andy Weir's science fiction, if you're also not aware, there's like two different like groups of science fiction. I would say there's like fantasy science fiction, I call it, which is like, I would like categorize like Star Wars and like Star Trek under, where it's like, ooh, we just beep up to every planet, and the science behind the ship's not working isn't explained, but we go zoom, and like everyone's an alien, and la 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 la. And I feel like it's very fantasy core, but instead of like magic, it's space, you know? And then whereas for, and like technology, but the technology isn't explained, so it kind of goes under that magic category. And then there's like the real science, like not real, but like based on actual science fiction, where like Andy Weir takes so long to write his books because he goes into such detail and such great lengths to research the actual science behind this, where he is going into depth of how would this work and how would the implication work and like what is the biology. And in the book you get that, like he breaks down about like what the different science, and you do have to have some science background. I would say like a little bit more advanced than like a regular biology class you have in high school would probably suffice. But even if you have a basic understanding of biology from high school, I think you could pick up most of the things he's saying just by context clues, and then your supplemental research as well by Googling words and things along that lines. And for this movie, and this is going to go into the book and what to expect from the book, I'm going to transition now because my thing is not linear, it's just jumping kind of. But what to expect from the book is, because Andy Weir is one of these science fiction authors that are using real science, I mean, he goes into depth into the science. You do not get that in the movie at all. There, spoiler alert if you've seen the movie, and I'm actually probably gonna put like, watch the movie before you do this on this, so if you haven't watched it, this is not my fault for spoiling it for you. In the end, with the breeder tanks for the Talmebas. So for the Talmebas, which is the predator to astrophage in the breeder tanks, that whole segment in the movie happens 2 minutes. In the book, that is like 10-ish chapters, I think. Like it is, and he is thoroughly explaining how he is breeding these and how is he putting them into with each other to produce the results he wants. And he is going to significant in-depth. along with like there's an in-depth a lot of the science, like when they first, also something in depth in the movie, it kind of shows that like, ooh, Rocky and Grace are able to like understand each other right away. In the book, it takes them a long time to understand each other, and a lot of going back and forth and a lot of confusion. So it is exponentially a lot longer and feels a lot longer than the movie at points, which is hilarious considering the movie's literally 3 hours. But that's something just to keep in mind. Like, they actually do show the timeline of things a lot, I think, better than what was established in the movie. Because of all the science, you get a lot more of the gravity of the situation too. So, like, how important it is, because they're, like, Grace and Rocky tweak about, like, everything. And also, something they don't show is that, like, the complex both Grace and Rocky have. Both Grace and Rocky severely doubt themselves all the time. They think they're both dumb, and they kind of work together to create this like hey, maybe we're not the dumbest people like solving this. But when they make issues or they have problems, they both kind of go nuclear on it, of like, oh my god, everything's wrong, oh my god, I can't do it, yada yada yada, because the weight of the world is resting on their shoulders, and they don't believe they're as smart as they truly are. So it gives that aspect of as well. And because of that aspect too, not to mention on top of like, this book is kind of like, if everything could go wrong, it does go wrong. So me and my mom were reading the book, and right after the Rocky comes out and is burning alive, we literally had to stop reading. We literally did not pick up the book again for months. And because the book, I think, is a lot more high stress than the movie predicts, my bad. So you kind of are on edge a lot more than if you're watching the movie, because the movie's goal is to be a little bit more feel good, where I feel like the book kind of shows the actual stakes that are at hand. So if you went to go see the movie, you saw the little notification going of Hail Mary. I've only audiobooked it, but I will say I think you truly should audiobook it. I feel like audiobooking takes a little longer, but with how dense this book is, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. And because of that too, you get the audio of Rocky, and while you may have already watched the movie, so you can already kind of hear what Rocky sounds like, I think there's still a lot missing from you not being able to hear what the actual depiction of Rocky is in real time, even if you already heard it. I'm gonna probably read this when I get the actual special edition in December, so I'll link if I re-change my thoughts. But honestly, go with the audiobook. It is so much fun too, and I think the voice actor that does Grace does an amazing job as well, really depicting like his thoughts going in his head. So definitely recommend it if you are interested. If you're like if you're not a typical audiobook reader, if you're an audiobook reader, you should be already on that. But if you're not typically an audiobook reader, I would definitely recommend just trying out and see what happens. And then I'm going to show you the special edition. I bought both special editions for the books. Didn't actually know Hail Marys was coming out yet, but my mom sent it to me and was like, oh my god, I need this. So I bought both. I saw the Martian special edition like about last year was coming out, and I was just like, okay, I was waffling between if I needed it or not, because it's not like it's expensive, honestly, in the grand scheme of how books are right now. It was like $35, and books right now are retailing for $20, and well, I'm so glad people are reading more. Am I a little aghast? Am I a little taken back at the cost of books now? Yes. Yes, I am. And I know a lot of that money is not going back to the authors, and it's going back to the publishing company. But whatever. But this is a special edition of Hail Mary. It is gorgeous, and I especially love the sides on here and how they depicted, I'm not sure if that's supposed to be the sun or Adrian. I'm going to assume Adrian, but Adrian didn't have that. Oh, whatever. It's gorgeous. I love it. I can't wait for it to be on my shelf. It's gonna go in my middle section where my red and my yellow books are. And also, I have done a tour for my bookshelf, but I think I breathed weird in it, so I now have to go refilm it. And because I'm weird, this is the special edition of The Martian as well. And I love the sprayed edges. I think sometimes sprayed edges can be a little weird, but I think both the sprayed edges on either side of the book are a real fit to the series. I also forgot what those lines are called, which is kind of embarrassing considering I did get my ASAA, whatever it's called, in geology. It's like strata lines. Hold on, I have to Google now. This geology topographic maps. See, I knew it started with a T. I did not say that with a T, but I got both of those and I'm really excited to read both of those as well. So I'll probably reread it. I love The Martian, by the way, if you didn't know. I love the book and I love the movie. Both are fan-fucking-tastic. I was actually looking to buy The Martian for my collection anyways. And I'll go into this a little later, but how I do my collections for my bookshelf is actually, no, I'm gonna stop right now. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on Hail Mary. If you have not watched it yet and you watch this video, you're crazy, but go out to the theaters and watch it. I know the theaters are expensive and you typically want to watch it at home, but I will say, well, maybe not IMAX was like the best thing ever. I think seeing it on the big screen with the speakers in the dark room is definitely something that's important. And I think also we want to support movie theaters, especially when they are making good movies and they're not making terrible movies. I like to say reward good behavior, don't reward bad behavior. So that's my thought. But if you all are also, I hope this video convinced you to read the book. I truly do love it, even if I said like a couple of things that maybe were to you. I think if you typically don't go for the actual science books, I think it's actually a really good chance for you, if you enjoy the movie, to kind of learn about science a bit more and in that aspect. And if you read the book and you're like, hey, this wasn't for me, I don't want to read stuff more like this anymore, the world is your oyster. But at least you can say you gave it an honest effort, and at the end of the day, that's all we can ask. My name is Beeps. If you haven't subscribed here, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and go ahead and follow my Instagram. I'm also an artist by trade as well. A lot of my videos also have to do with art. If you're interested, go ahead and check my art channel to see more of my art stuff. My Instagram has a little bit more art, and I also have a Ko-Fi if you're interested in a commission potentially. And I'm also potentially just opening up an art shop soon. I just have to look into a couple logistics first, but thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and this won't be the last thing I film today.